on MSNBC.
Hi there, everyone. I'm JJ Ramberg, and welcome to Your Business, the show dedicated to helping your small business grow. 2015 has been a mixed bag for America's small businesses. Hiring had an uptick, Small Business Saturday sales were up, and yet owners are not exactly upbeat about next year. The NFIB Small Business Optimism Index fell 1.3 points in November. Big worries continue over profits, healthcare, taxes, and federal regulations. With us from Capitol Hill is Congressman Steve Chabot. The Republican from Ohio is chairman of the House Small Business Committee. It is so great to see you, Congressman.
Oh, thank you, JJ. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I've spent a lot of Sunday mornings watching your show, and you do a great job.
Oh, well, thank you very much for the compliment. Well, we are really interested in hearing what you have to say. And so I'd love to hear from your perspective, what are people worried about most right now?
Well, I think they're worried about the normal things. They're worried about the level of taxation in this country. They're worried about being overregulated by Washington, and those are at the small business level. But I mean, let's face it, they're concerned about whether we're safe in this country or not after such things as Paris and San Bernardino, and what effect would that have on their jobs. And so there's a lot of worries out there, and I think it's our responsibility in Congress and the President as well to deal with those issues. One of the principal problems is regulation right now, over-regulation. Whether it's Obamacare, which I would argue to a considerable degree has made life much more difficult on small business folks. Some people call it, rather than the Affordable Care Act, the Unaffordable Care Act, because it's costing a lot more. People are getting less for the higher dollars that they're paying for health care. Dodd-Frank legislation that was passed some years back, that we have a whole new level of bureaucracy that's looking over the shoulders of bankers, especially community bankers and credit unions, so that makes it tougher for small businesses to get loans. So we're working on reducing the level of regulations in this country. What most small business people tell me is the best thing that we being Congress and the government could do for them is to get the heck off their backs.
So I have a question for you. As a small business owner, as our audience watching, we have people on from your side, we have people on who feel differently, but I think you hit on one button that most people talk about, which is uncertainty, and how things come at them at the last minute, or they feel like no movement is going to be made in Washington. And so as somebody who is dealing with both sides of the table, trying to argue your side and push forward things that you believe in, how do you think small business people at home who are actually dealing day to day, trying to pay their employees, increase their revenue, can deal with watching Washington not be able to make up its mind?
Well, I know they're very frustrated, JJ, and rightfully so. What we're trying to do at this point, those of us that are pushing to help small businesses rather than hurt them, which is what unfortunately happens far too often in government, things like something we already passed, the Regulatory Flexibility Improvements Act, which would say when the bureaucracy up here passes regulation, red tape that you're going to have to live by, let's make sure that they take into consideration both the direct and indirect impacts it's going to have on small businesses. On taxes, for example, we need to simplify the tax code. Right now, not only is our taxes too high, not only are they too complicated, but even when we do good things coming out of Washington, we usually do them at the last minute, so you can't plan on them. Things like bonus depreciation, things like the Section 179 expensing. These are good things for small businesses. They can take advantage of these things. However, oftentimes it's done in November or in the last minute in December, so you can't plan for those things in the next tax year. So what we're trying to do is have more predictability coming out of Washington, so you can depend on what's going to happen here, and hopefully what's happening will benefit your small businesses and not hurt you.
And so what is your outlook for next year? Should we be optimistic? Should we be fearful?
I'm optimistic. I'd have to say cautiously optimistic, but we also have divided government. Let's face it. We have a Republican House and Senate. We still have a Democratic president, Democratic administration, and a very unsettling, shall we say, presidential campaign thus far, I would say, on both sides. So nobody knows for sure what's going to happen, including me. But it's easy to see why people are kind of uncertain and don't know exactly what to expect for next year. But let's be positive and let's move ahead and try to move this country in the right direction.
And Congressman, I have one last question for you, which is when we say the term small business, it covers so much ground, right? So that the person who runs a small dry cleaner in Florida is quite different than a venture-backed company in Silicon Valley, and yet it is sort of all clumped together as small business. And so,
that's very true.
And so as you think about policies that help small business, how do you sort that out?
Well, 70% of the jobs that are created in the American economy nowadays are created by small business folks. About every other person you see walking down the street who's working works for a small business. But you're right, the definition, a small business can be pretty large. Most of the federal programs is up to 500 employees. But then most of the small businesses are very small. You know, they can be one person. They can be 5 people, 10. And so when we're passing laws that up here that maybe a large corporation, they can hire a new accountant, they can hire a new tax person. A small business, it can be success or failure. So we always have to keep in consideration what we do up here affects a lot of small businesses. Because
when it comes to small business, it is certainly not one size fits all. Well, we thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us, and we hope to see you again next year.
Thank you very much, JJ.
Thank you.